We trust the lamb, not the donkey or the elephant.
But this takes me to a different issue that I think is also kind of thorny and hard to work around, and that's partisanship. Now, I might be wrong. You're a registered Democrat. Is that correct? Do I still have that right?
That's correct.
That's correct. So
you don't register in Georgia, but
okay.
I usually get that ballot.
Okay, that's what that helps. So you're not. I was going to ask that question because it's different state to state. So can you, or maybe you wouldn't, but is there a case to be made for partisanship? And I mean, just to be, full disclosure, I'm pretty independent. Missouri is exactly the same as Georgia. I don't have to register for a party to vote in a primary, so I've never had to register for a party. But I'm curious. I mean, do you think there's a place for partisanship in Christian political identity?
I think there's a case for engagement in partisan politics. I think there can be a practical benefit to engaging partisan politics. I mean, we've always had two parties. And so depending where you're at strategically, it can be helpful. I take partisanship as something a little bit different and almost as I take party loyalty. Can a Christian be concerned about party loyalty? I question how concerned about party loyalty we can be. Does that mean that we support the party when they're wrong? Does that mean that we support our leaders when they have bad behavior? What exactly does that loyalty mean? And I think we need to be very careful in how we get into that. The other thing I would say is that a Christian cannot afford to have their identity in a party. So when you say, Justin, are you a Democrat? I can say, yeah, but I could care less about the party, really. I mean, I could vote for a Democrat or Republican at any time.
Yeah.
To me, it's a tool. And so you could sit here and you could really criticize the Democrats or my favorite, Democrat politician, and I really wouldn't care because that's not my identity. I might disagree with you, but I don't feel like you attacked me. And so I would say that a Christian cannot afford to have their identity be in a party, nor to have the type of party loyalty that would mean you support the party even when they're wrong.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that comes with the kind of partisanship or party loyalty, maybe as a way to frame it that you're describing, is that it leads to a kind of tribal blindness. And what I mean when I say that is we get into this position where we begin to assume that because my party believes X must be true. If the tribe says it, then it must be the case. And the inverse is true as well, right? If the other team says Y, then Y must be false. So how do we resist, as Christians, how do we resist that kind of tribal partisan blindness?
I think it's self-examination. One thing that tribes never want you to do is examine the tribe, because the tribe cannot exist if they have people really questioning that. Like within those type of tribes, the myths have to stand, and the only way for them to stand is if no one really has an opportunity to question them, and so you are automatically attacked if you try to do that.
Yeah,
Christians can't afford not to. If we look throughout history, that type of groupthink, not really thinking deeply through issues and just reacting, or what I call opposition politics, to where we're just wanting to do the opposite of what the other side is, and I would say even more than almost groupthink, that opposition-centered politics where we say if they did it, it must be wrong and I have to do the opposite, is leading us into some really, really bad places. And so Christians always, if you read history, you'll see we always have to question what's going on. And guess what? My whole thing is, if I question it and it's actually good, what are you worried about? Like, there's nothing to worry about questioning your party if your party is as great as you think they are. The fear that we often have, and that the leaders of our parties often have, is that it's not that great. And that if you actually are impartial in how you look at it, you'll find that and find a reason not to just give them your vote without making them work for it.
I'm Patrick. Thanks for watching this video. If you're passionate about ending tribalism in the church and giving Jesus your allegiance, you're not alone. We have a podcast and a book. They're both called Truth Over Tribe. You can download the podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can buy the book on Amazon. I hope you'll check them out.